Hi.
Howdy.
How's it going?
Dude, it's going okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, again, I have my friend, Sean Biorosano.
It's if you come to Guitargate, he makes you make videos all day.
Yeah, it's fun.
It's fun.
So, when I first moved back from California, back to Maryland,
Yep.
I was looking for all the work I could get. And I was
Yes.
subbing all the time.
Yep.
And now it's been, 10 years or so, and now I don't do it so much anymore. But you're from California.
Right.
You moved here.
Yeah, and I sub all the time right
You're
now.
in the thick of it.
I am in the thick of subbing for a lot of people right now.
Yeah. So I thought it'd be fun to get on here and talk about the things that are good and bad about subbing.
Okay.
And from two perspectives, not just from the people subbing, but from the people who are hiring subs.
Oh, we got both of these.
So the first one is the obvious one. I think everybody will agree on.
Money.
You gotta pay people in cash money.
Cash
Hard currency.
money on the night
The
the gig.
The night of the gig.
The only exception
Yeah.
is if you're in an agency band and you have a contract
Right.
where it says you're going to get paid 2 weeks later.
Yeah.
You never get paid those 2 weeks later. It's usually 2 months. But at least it's written down somewhere that you're getting paid.
Yeah, exactly. And so we were talking, and you had an experience recently where there's a guy.
So there's a guy who's known for... I got asked to sub for a gig.
Yeah.
And this guy is known around town for not paying people on time. I know you worked with him once.
Yeah, exactly.
And listen, good player, the gig was fine, but I made a point of saying, hey, you have a reputation. I need to get paid the night of the gig.
You bring cash, I'll bring the bass.
Yeah, you bring cash, you show me at the beginning of the gig that you've got cash, like, we're good. I'll play the gig.
Right.
No problem.
I'll hit all the changes, don't worry about it.
Played the gig, it was a lot of fun, like, good
Yeah.
player, the dude can sing his ass off, like,
Right.
it's great, right?
Yeah.
He called me last week while we were down in Florida and asked me for, like, I don't know, 10 dates or something, and of those 10 dates, I could do 7 of them.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, man, cool, I can do these 7 dates,
Yeah.
I'll see you there, like, looking forward to this. One caveat, though, I still need to get paid the night of the gig.
Just making sure, because he did pay you the night of that
He
gig.
paid me the night of that gig. I was like,
Right.
cool, no problem. I need to get paid the night of every gig.
Right.
Because, the reputation hasn't changed.
Right.
He literally sends me a text back saying, I'll throw a few other texts around and see if there's anyone available that can get paid a couple weeks later.
See, that is so ridiculous. It's like, hey, I'll do that. Sounds great. I want those dates. You're just gonna have to pay me. I'm gonna text other people.
I'm going
That is such a thing, though.
Yeah.
So key takeaway here: as a musician, as a sub, expect to be paid in cash
night
that
of.
night of.
Yeah.
And as a band leader, pay your subs in cash. And you know what? They'll come there. They'll do a good job.
Our band has a rule. If we have a sub on that night, subs get a standard rate. It's in cash. They get taken care of like the second they show up.
Yeah.
No problem. Like, thanks for stepping in. Let's see how we get through the gig.
Right. So now let's talk about the gig. You know you're going to get paid. So learning the songs and doing a set list. You go for it.
So we work in kind of the cover band world.
Yeah.
I work in a couple worlds, and in cover band world, a lot of bands have set lists that are 60 to 100 songs long because you got to cover 3 hours worth of music.
And you get a text, not a phone call.
Text.
3 days before.
Usually about 3 days before.
Can you do the gig, yes or no? And then one day before, you get an email with just a list of the songs.
Song names.
Song names.
Only.
No artist.
No charts.
No charts.
You usually get keys, but they don't tell you if they tune different. So, like, I often get a band that'll send me, like, a whole list with all the keys of just the song title and the key that it's in.
Right.
Which, all right, so you start looking around on YouTube,
Yeah.
and that song title comes up with 4 different artists playing that song.
Yeah.
And more often than not, like I just did that sub for that one wedding band, I would look, and the key that they're doing the song in is none of the keys of any of the artists that I've found on the internet.
And oh, by the way, they tuned to E flat.
And oh, by the way, they tuned to E flat.
So all those charts you made, they're all half step off.
Right, everything's wrong. So I have taken, I just send the band leader text constantly now. So what I do is they send me the list, and I'll build a YouTube playlist, which is what every band leader should do.
Yeah.
Just build a YouTube playlist for your subs. It's free and it lives on YouTube. And so I go and I text constantly. I'm like, hey, you know, fire. There's 4 artists on this one. Which one do you do? Which version do you do? And I communicate and I make it very clear, like, tell me what you want. I'll make sure I know it, but I got to know the right version. I've definitely showed up knowing the wrong song.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, and I think from a band leader perspective too, if you always keep a list, make a YouTube playlist so everybody's got the same version,
right?
You know, and have it be clear whether it's that key, different key, and there's any tuning, and you just keep that on there. Whenever you have subs, throw it out there. You're never gonna have, you know, subs drop the ball. But one other thing I would say, and this is especially true with, you know, Maynard, is that
we're calling Maynard out already?
I mean, you have to. Is that you do all those things and you send the set list and you get there and the crowd isn't feeling the set list that you wrote.
So he drops the set list.
And you just disregard it entirely.
Yes.
But in his defense, he does hire, you know, very responsive musicians.
Sure.
So, but I've had a lot of subs, you know, get back to me and they'll be like, dude, so like you sent the song and like I thought I had everything prepared and we played none of those songs. That's a problem.
That is so, and that happens a lot. You show up, and there's a lot of gigs. You show up, and they change the entire set list right before you walk on, and you just listen. My rule is play loud and proud, and if the notes are wrong, they'd rather hear notes playing than you just stand on stage and not play anything at all.
And that's the last thing I want to talk about. So when you are a sub, or if you're hiring a sub, I feel like I typically do one of two things. Like when I was younger and didn't sub a lot. Yep. And whenever I got a chance in a bigger band, I was always like, oh man, I got to make an impression. And I usually overplayed.
Yes.
You know? And then the older I got and the more subbing I did, the more I was like, I'm not putting 6 hours in to learn this dude's song for $130. I'm going to get the changes. I'm going to lay back in the back. And I'm going to get the check and then I'm going to go. And, you know, I'm going to hit a hairy lead here or there so the dudes know that, you know, what time it is. But besides that. And neither of those things are correct. There's a middle ground.
So I'm going to call Frankie out a little bit, or I'm going to use Frankie as the example for the middle ground.
Okay.
Our friend Frank Kracholski, he plays with us every once in a while. He's a local guy, phenomenal player. He played with us on Saturday. Listen, we had a rainstorm, like the tent got washed out, like all sorts of things went wrong. And he, before Saturday, sends me a text saying, hey man, I don't know like half of your set list. And I'm like, dude, Frankie, you know like hundreds of songs. Like we are not.
He probably knows 1,000 songs. I mean, who hasn't he played with?
Right, like he's literally played with everybody. I'm like, why are you sending me this text? Like I'm stressed out. I don't need to know that you don't know something. I know you can just show up and play the guitar, man. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
He shows up and kills it all day, and like the parts he didn't, or like specific solos and the stuff that no one cares. I don't want to hear the same solo. I've heard it. Like I appreciate when players bring what they bring to the table on sub gigs as well.
Yeah.
Frankie always delivers in that regard. Sure. So do you. You always just bring like what you do.
Right.
Yeah.
Just bird noises.
Oh, yeah. Dude, the best. All right, so I do have one sub gig coming up, and I got to mention it because it's such an organized, so good.
Okay.
Kevin Jackson.
Yeah.
I think he's a PRS guy, but I'll double check.
Okay.
Kevin Jackson, he's hired me for a jazz festival later this summer. The day after he hired me, sent me a Dropbox link with MP3s and charts for everything on the gig and all the load-in information. Asked me what I wanted for backline, like.
He got a backline inquiry?
Right. I got a backline inquiry. I'm a little suspicious because I'm like, all right, this is sounding like pretty good. Like, what's gonna actually happen on this gig? Like, there's got to be a carrot somewhere.
I don't know, but I would be skeptical too.
Right. It's going really great so far, so something's gonna go wrong.
Well, it's probably because. Well, let me ask you this: is this a gospel gig, and you're like the only big red-bearded white dude showing up? So he's like, man, I gotta send him everything.
No, it is a straight jazz gig for like an artist, and like it is just smooth jazz. It's like I don't know. Well, listen, I have no idea like why people call me, but they do.
It's not for your sunny disposition.
It's not for my sunny disposition, so I must play bass good.
Yes, you do. All right, guys. Well, thanks for watching. And if you have anything else that you've experienced being a sub or being a band leader dealing with sub, please drop it in the comments.
We want to know.
Yeah.
Because it's hilarious. This is all we talk about.
Yeah, we definitely want to know. The offstage banter, like bring it on. And we're gonna do a bunch more of these videos because this is just a stupid amount of fun.
Yeah, we've got to do some like gig recaps.
See you next time.
See you guys.